Hey friends, today I will explain to you a 2018 Japanese romance drama movie named My Little Monster. The movie starts with a woman called Shizuku Mizutani who is looking at a photo of her youth in a classroom. When she was young, Shizuku put learning above all else. She doesn't need companions or love. But somehow, she changed. She has made many friends, and the center of it all is Haru Yoshida, a young man who is known to be a troublemaker. The scene then shiftings to the past when Haru's first day at high school. On that first day, he got into a fight and beat up several students at school. But since that fight, Haru never came to school again. Because of that, he had lost a few lessons and had never received any new student manuals either. So, the homeroom teacher decides to send a student to deliver guidebooks and textbooks to Haru's house. And the person the teacher chose was Shizuku, only because she sat following to Haru in class. Shizuku accepted the task without arguing and delivered the books to Haru's house. But then, as she walks home, Haru catches up with her. Haru thought that Shizuku was a messenger from the school assigned to make him go back to school. Shizuku then clarified that she was only told by the teacher to give him books. But he again misunderstood her words. Now he considered Shizuku his friend, even though she didn't feel like they were friends. The following day after school, Shizuku is pulled away by Haru, who then invites her to hang out at a cafe. But while they were enjoying a meal at the cafe, 3 of Haru's friends came to borrow money from him. It turns out this isn't the first moment they've borrowed money from Haru. On the other hand, Haru never refuses to lend them money because he considers them his friends. Shizuku seemed to realize that Haru just wanted to have friends. She then indicates Haru to just go to school, where he can make real friends. But Haru rejects Shizuku's idea because he feels like people at school are afraid of him. They continue to argue with each other, until eventually Shizuku calls Haru's friends swindlers who pretend to be friends because they want his money. It's better for Haru not to have friends than to be friends with them. Annoyed by her words, Haru poured a drink on Shizuku's head. But Shizuku certainly didn't just submit such treatment. In return, she throws her drink at Haru's head, making him furious and chasing her. The next day, while Shizuku minded her own business in class, she was moved toward by her classmate. The student, whose name was Sasayon, admitted that he was amazed at Shizuku who dared to throw a drink at Haru and get him drenched. Shizuku, who didn't know Sasayon even though they were classmates, then asked what he wanted from her. Sasayon tells her that he used to go to the similar middle school as Haru. One day, he saw a student being bullied on a baseball field. He wanted to help the student, but he did not dare to do so. Only Haru dared to intervene and save the student by beating up the terrors. But since then, somehow he stopped coming to school. Whatever the reason, Sasayon wants Haru to go back to school again because he feels indebted to Haru. Undisclosed to Sasayon, it turned out that the teacher was eavesdropping on the story. The teacher then again asked for Shizuku's help to deliver school materials to Haru. Shizuku approved the delivery task. She went to Haru's house and gave the books to Haru's cousin, Michin, because Haru wasn't home. Perhaps as a thank you, Michin then offered her to play baseball. While they were playing, Shizuku unexpectedly remembered about Haru's fight at school. She just realized that Haru had been fighting all along because maybe he wanted to help the bullied students. Subsequently, Haru's friends came to the baseball arena. While passing behind Shizuku, they communicated how Haru was now useless to them because he refused to give them any more money. Shizuku seemed angry to hear that they only thought of Haru as an ATM machine. She instantly went to them and told them to respect Haru more as a friend. However, they were offended at being advised by Shizuku, a girl they didn't know. One of them then grabbed her head. But luckily, before he could do anything else, Haru seemed to save Shizuku. He threatened them not to dare to do anything to Shizuku. Terrified, they then apologized, and with this, Haru officially cut off his relationship with his friends. After that, Haru followed Shizuku back home. But on the way, Haru unexpectedly burst into tears on the street. Shizuku guessed that he was sad to know that his friends had betrayed him, but he denied it. He said he was crying because he was happy. To calm him down, Shizuku patted him on the head and hugged him. Then she said that Haru would be fine because he would precisely have a lot of friends someday, as if his heart was touched by her kindness. Haru said that he would start going back to school because he could meet Shizuku there. Then suddenly, Haru brought his face closer to Shizuku while admitting that he might have fallen for her. The next day, Haru did come to school and waited for Shizuku at the gate. Although he had not been to school for a long time, Haru looked scared and hid behind Shizuku. He was uneasy when the teacher greeted him and snapped when the students looked at him strangely. Everyone became frightened by Haru's behavior. But then, Shizuku calmly tamed Haru's wild attitude. After that, Haru always followed her wherever she went, even when she went to the girls' restroom. After school, Haru wants to invite Shizuku to accompany him to eat at a restaurant. But Shizuku refuses the invitation because she wants to continue studying at home. Haru keeps begging her, and she still refuses, thinking that soon there will be a midterm exam, so she has to study. She didn't want her test scores to be lower than anyone else's. Their conversation is then interrupted by the impression of Natsume, their classmate, who wants to ask Shizuku to help her study because she often gets bad grades. But as might be expected, Shizuku rejected the request because it was none of her business. Natsume continues to coax her, pointing out that she has a lot of friends on social media but she doesn't know them. As a result, they could not help her. She only has one friend, a precious friend who invites her to a meeting. Haru was instantly interested to hear it. He offered to help Natsume study on the condition that she invite him to the meeting. But Shizuku looked like unaffected by Natsume and Haru's conversation. She walked away, leaving the two of them alone. For her, learning is more important than friends. The days passed, and the students took their midterm exams. On the day of the statement of the test scores, Natsume was very happy because she managed to get a higher score than usual. On the other hand, Shizuku looked shocked to see the results on the bulletin board. It turned out that she was only ranked second. It was Haru who won first place. On the same day, Haru finds a chicken on the street and intimately brings it into the classroom. He planned to take care of it, and he invited Shizuku to join him in his plan. After class, Natsume made them a chicken coop design, and then Haru took Shizuku to shop for coop building equipment. At the supermarket, Shizuku accidentally crashes a trolley into a student named Yamaken, who was shopping with 3 of Haru's former companions. Thinking they would harm Shizuku, Haru came to protect her. Yamaken tries to calm Haru down, saying that the 3 former friends want to admit guilt to him. After that, Shizuku and Haru returned to where they made the chicken coop, and Yamaken came with them. There Yamaken told Shizuku that he was Haru's elementary school friend. It was also from him that Shizuku understood that Haru had an older brother, who had always helped Haru when he was bullied by other children as a child. The chicken coop was completed, and everyone was happy to see the chicken now has a home. In the evening, Haru accompanies Shizuku back to her house. But on the way, Michin texts Haru saying him that his brother came to Michin's house. Because he doesn't want to meet his brother, Haru asks Shizuku for permission to stay at her house. Shizuku allowed him to stay at her house, where he later had dinner with Shizuku's father and younger brother. Out of curiosity, Haru then asked about Shizuku's mother. It turned out that her mother was busy working. She did have to work to help the family because Shizuku's father had failed 6 times in his business. After dinner, Shizuku went straight to study, making Haru wonder why she had to keep studying. Shizuku revealed that when she was a child, her mother had guaranteed to accompany her to catch fish at the fireworks festival. But in the end, her mother broke her promise because she was busy with her work. Since then, Shizuku has been afraid of being betrayed. But learning never betrayed her, and she couldn't stop doing it because of that. The next day, Haru returns home. As he lay in his room, he was reminded of past memories when his mother stroked him on the head and hugged him, just as Shizuku had done to him the other day. In that memory too, Haru recalled his mother pocketing a pen in her jacket pocket. One night, Shizuku met Yuzan, Haru's older brother, who came to thank her for taking care of Haru. He then told her that presently Haru lives at Michin's house because he used to cause trouble until he was kicked out by his father. But now that Haru has started school again, his father wants Haru to return home. After Yuzan finished telling his story, Haru unexpectedly came jumping to attack him because he thought Yuzan was disturbing Shizuku. Yuzan then made small talk with Haru before inviting him to go home. But Haru refused rudely as he took Shizuku away. After they left, Shizuku tried to convince Haru to have a nice talk with his brother. But Haru doesn't want to talk about his family. Shizuku herself began to wonder why she was so worried about Haru. With that, she left him alone. The next day, Shizuku started ignoring Haru. That day, the students were making decorations for the school festival. Fascinated by the decorations made by his class, Haru then goes to the class president, Oshima, and acclaims her as a good leader. On the school festival day, Haru and his classmates wear costumes because they run a haunted house. Haru himself was wearing a Dracula costume, and he seemed very enthusiastic, the complete contrary of Shizuku. As if realizing that something was wrong with Shizuku, Natsume then tried to have a one-on-one conversation with her. It turned out that Shizuku was annoyed at herself for letting Haru approach her and even affecting her point of view. But Natsume didn't find any problem with that. She felt that Haru just didn't want to be alone, which was only biological since no one wanted to be alone. Likewise, if Haru thinks of Shizuku as a special person to him, that's also natural because she is the closest person to him. However, Shizuku seemed to disagree with Natsume's advice. Without another word, she instantly left her. After wandering alone for a while, Shizuku met Yamaken. She then told Yamaken about Haru and how she hadn't spoken to him in a long time because she felt strangled whenever she was around him, and that makes her unable to focus on studying. Yamaken guessed that Shizuku felt that way because she had feelings for Haru. But Shizuku shortly denied it, saying that she was used to being alone without feeling lonely. Yamaken then again guessed that maybe being together with Haru made Shizuku lonely. After thinking for a while, Shizuku thanked Yamaken, saying that her mind had cleared after talking to him. Nonetheless, without them knowing, Haru saw them chatting from a distance. Shizuku then met Natsume to apologize for being rude to her earlier. They eventually made up as Natsume hugged Shizuku. In the evening, as the students dance in the middle of the bonfire to celebrate the festival's success, Haru sees Yamaken whispering something to Shizuku. He instantly ran to confront Yamaken, then asked if he liked Shizuku. Yamaken didn't deny it at all, and Haru couldn't do anything about it. On Valentine's Day, which coincides with Shizuku's birthday, Haru meets Oshima. At that moment, Oshima planned to give Haru a Valentine's gift. But before she could give it, Haru instead asked her what a suitable birthday present for Shizuku would be. Even though she seemed displeased with the question, Oshima still helped Haru. She asked him to imagine something that would make Shizuku happy. In the end, Oshima left without giving Haru Valentine's gift. Still on the similar day, Shizuku put up decorations for her own birthday at her house. She also cooks and bakes her own cakes. But then, when Shizuku went to her room, she found Haru outside her bedroom window. Haru then gave her a pen for her birthday, the similar as his mother had. After that, Haru was invited into the house, where he filled the empty seat that was supposed to be occupied by Shizuku's mother. After the party, Haru asked Shizuku to call her mother. Shizuku was worried that she would interfere with her mother's work, but ultimately her mother picked up the phone. Shizuku was very happy to be able to talk to her mother on her birthday, even though they only spoke briefly. Her mother promised she would call in an hour when she finished work. Subsequently that, Haru went home. But just after he walked a few steps, Shizuku caught up with him and confessed that she liked him. From this moment on, they became lovers. In the attending year, Shizuku and Haru were no longer in the same class, but that wasn't a problem. The two can still spend time together, either alone or with their friends. But one day, when Shizuku was alone with Haru in a room at school, a teacher unexpectedly came in and questioned Haru's decision not to continue his education at college. It surprised Shizuku. She had only now heard of it. She then asked what Haru would do if he didn't go to college. It turns out that Haru wants to be a fisherman and catch tuna because he doesn't want to keep bothering Michin by staying at his house. After college, Shizuku told Michin about Haru's plan. But Michin couldn't do much to change Haru's decision. What's more, Haru's relationship with his father is bad. Haru's family practically doesn't know Haru's plan to become a fisherman. Not long later, when Shizuku was about to leave Michin's house, Yuzan came back to ask Haru to attend his birthday. He even bent down to plead because Haru's presence was very important to him on his birthday. Shizuku then convinced Haru to accept the invitation. In the end, Haru agreed to Yuzan's request on the condition that after his birthday, Yuzan stopped bothering him anymore. On Yuzan's birthday, which was accompanied by many invited guests, Haru came with Shizuku. However, when Shizuku gave a present to Yuzan, he forgot that it was his birthday. Yuzan tells her that since he was little, his father was so proud of Haru's intelligence that it made him feel like their dad didn't think he existed. Yuzan even thought that if Haru wasn't around, maybe he would be happier. But that is all in the past. Now, he really wants Haru to come back home. But then, suddenly, his father announced to all the guests that his company would be passed on to Haru. The immediate announcement made Haru very angry. After throwing a tantrum, he immediately ran out of the party with Shizuku. After they were outside, Haru took Shizuku's hand and took her to find something to eat. But Shizuku refused and even let go of his hand. She then spills her feelings on Haru, saying she recently thought she and Haru had something in common. They both want to achieve something so that they no longer have shortcomings. But as it turns out, Haru already has it all: family, intelligence, and wealth. Shizuku was envious of all that Haru had, but he didn't seem to understand her feelings. On the other hand, Haru also thought that Shizuku didn't understand him at all. He snapped at her, feeling that everyone was just as rotten. After saying that, he dashed away, leaving Shizuku behind. The following day, Shizuku intends to apologize to Haru at school, but she couldn't find him, even though she had tried to search everywhere. Time passed and graduation day eventually arrived. Everyone looked happy, and they captured the moment by taking pictures together. But at a time like this, the teacher asked Shizuku for help to deliver the cardboard containing Haru's belongings to Michin's house. As she carried it down the stairs, the box fell and the items inside were scattered. Seeing Haru's belongings made Shizuku go back to her memories with him. She then bursts into tears, realizing that she misses Haru very much. As Shizuku was about to go home, she met Yamakan at the college gate. There, Yamakan confessed that he liked her. Likewise, Shizuku admits that she can relax with Yamakan by being herself. It's very different if she is with Haru, which always tires her. Nonetheless, she was happy with the tiring moments she spent with Haru. Even just imagining it made her happy. In the end, she politely refused Yamakan's confession. But instead of being angry or disappointed, Yamakan hugged her while expressing his hope that Shizuku would not regret her decision. At the climax of the movie, Shizuku delivers Haru's belongings to Michin's house. But before she leaves, Michin invites her to play baseball one last time. She accepted the invitation, and she organized to hit the ball until it hit the home run sign. Just then, a voice was heard, declaring that Shizuku was entitled to a reward. Behind the nets, Haru unexpectedly appears carrying a fish, a gift for Shizuku. From the beginning, Haru had always appeared unexpectedly, and that irritated Shizuku. But this time, she felt so happy that she didn't know what to do. Haru then tells Shizuku that he went to the Gulf of Mexico by boat, thinking he would never come back. But in the end he understood that it was all a dream. And when he woke up, he instantly called out Shizuku's name. He realized that Shizuku's words when she first hugged him used to give him a lot of hope in his life. And those words brought him back to where he is now. Shizuku herself had tried to accomplish many things in her life, but now she didn't need them. She only wants Haru. She then jumps up and kisses Haru, the monster she cares for. And the end. If you are a lover of similar content like this, take a look at my various videos, and if you love it, please burst the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel and smash the notification horn. Take sight of you in the next video.